The 78th running of the Santa Anita Handicap. Trevor Denman with the call.
Away they go, and Shared Belief broke beautifully. Along the inside, Diamond Bachelor sets off for the lead. Up alongside now comes Senor Quisqueyano, who now goes on to lead them. Moreno joins them in the centre of the track. Catcher Flight's on the grandstand side. Shared Belief is tucked in beautifully right behind the leaders in the black cap. Bronzo's on the outside. Crimson Giant is close today, only 3 lengths off them. Then Cool Samurai, and behind that Dynamic Sky. Hard Aces at the back of the leading group has only given them 5 lengths start. They bunched up here. Patriotic and Proud has dropped back to be third last. In behind that, You Know I Know, and Imperative is last, 11 off the lead. So they set off to the 3/4 pole in the big cap. Moreno on the far side and Senor Quisqueyano along the inside. They're just setting a steady pace, not flying. Behind that, Catcher Flight. Crimson Giant is right there in the firing line. Diamond Bachelor at the rail. Now here's Shared Belief in the 6th spot. Black cap of Shared Belief, only 3 lengths off the leaders and just loping along. In behind that comes Cool Samurai. In behind Cool Samurai now we have Bronzo's dropped 5 off the leaders. Patriotic and Proud, You Know I Know, Dynamic Sky, and Imperative is last. Into the turn they go, and Moreno's now sent along. Let's see, Shared Belief now starts to get closer in the black cap. He's moved up 4th and coming after them. Moreno is hard-ridden. Senor Quisqueyano along the inside. Shared Belief has taken the 2nd spot, and let's see, Mike Smith just sitting on him. And Shared Belief now comes on to take on Moreno. Moreno's running his heart out, but Shared Belief strikes the front in a big cap. On the inside, Catcher Flight tries to make a race of it. An 1/8 of a mile to go, and Shared Belief. Mike Smith never even thought about going to the stick. They cantering home. This is absolute poetry in motion. Ears cocked, he could go round again, could Shared Belief. They've won it so easily to Moreno. Catcher Flight. Behind that came Bronzo. Then we have Hard Aces and Dynamic Sky.
Shared Belief. Bam! In an obscene display of equine dominance, he absolutely lopes across the finish line in the Santa Anita Handicap. The horses behind him were running their eyeballs out, and they weren't even close.
I'll tell you what, I got to give credit to Santiago Gonzalez on the 6, because you're right, Simon. This is the only way you could beat a type of horse like this, and he took a shot with Moreno, who absolutely ran his eyeballs out, but it just shows you the devastating ease when Mike touched the button with Shared Belief. The Moreno's not taking the turns. The race is over right now. It's just a matter of how far. But you got to give credit to Moreno for hanging in there for a second.
Santiago Gonzalez pulled the trigger leaving the 3/8 pole, and that's the way you try to beat Shared Belief around the turns, as I was explaining prior to the race. He looked phenomenal around the turns today, and I think that's just indicative of the competition he's facing. He just blew by him, I mean, with each and every stride. Easy win, justifies his 1-5, should have been 1-9 odds. And in the words of Jim Rome, rack him.
Yeah, right out of the gate, Mike immediately, he sort of rode him a little bit like California Chrome and Victor Espinoza, tried to get him to the outside, wasn't worried about being 4 or 5 wide. When you have a horse like that, wow, it must be easy and must be nice, but still, 10 for 11. What a job by Jerry Hollendorfer and his crew.
Hallmark of a great horse, they make good horses look cheap. Shared Belief made a Grade 1 winner look cheap behind him. Moreno at 9-1. This is a winner of a Grade 1 against older horses. He almost won the Travers as a 3-year-old. He is as long on talent as anybody, but he had nothing. They literally couldn't warm him up today.
You know, the time 2 minutes and 3 could have run sub 2 minutes. And, you know, we're in the time now that we don't see a lot of horses running sub 2 minutes for 1.25 miles anymore, Simon.
No, we certainly don't. There's Jim Rome with his wife Janet coming down to the winner's circle. To the right of screen, Alex Salith, Keith Brackpool, who's heads up Santa Anita here, of course.
And not to be lost in all this, we all owe Janet a debt of gratitude, because it was his lovely wife that got him interested in horse racing in the first place. He was a longtime critic of this sport, and like he said, if he can come to the dark side, then anyone can. And not only has he come to horse racing, he's come with 2 Breeders' Cup wins with Misdirection, and then the next year he picks up a share of Shared Belief. And Shared Belief loping back to the winner's circle in those very familiar silks now of jungle racing.
She's done a lot of great work for retired thoroughbreds as well, Jim's wife. So she got him involved in Misdirection, 2 Breeders' Cup wins, now to this horse.
I mean, look, he's been in the sport, what, 7 or 8 years? There's people been in the sport 50 years that haven't had the success he's had. It didn't start off that well by his own admission, but it's really turned around. This is the only horse he has in training. I mean, everyone thinks he's got a ton of horses in training. This is the only horse he has.
The only one you need.
It's the only one you need. Exactly, Mike.
I'll take one horse, please.
Yes.
Well, Shared Belief is now, let's do the numbers. He's 10 for 11. He just put those career earnings close to over $2.9 million. He picks up a $600,000 winner's check today, so he's knocking on the door
My
for $3 million.
question is now, think about the horses that Mike Smith has ridden.
Yes.
I mean, that's my question now. Mike's a good friend of mine. I'd like to give him a call, and I don't know where he ranks this horse. He was on Cigar. Actually, he took off Cigar. He's been on Bridal Song. He's been on Skip Away. He's been on a lot of great horses, and I'll tell you what, he's always very, very gamemanship and can let everybody see the champion. And I'll tell you, this is a special horse.
It certainly is. Like Mike's not one to speak hyperbole and exaggerate. He's not a guy that's going to get off a Grade 1 winner and it's always, oh, it's the best horse I've ridden, the best horse I've ridden. He's few and far between his words, but he has gone on record as saying this might be one of the best horses he's ever sat on, and those are strong words for a guy that's usually understated and respects some of the horses that he's ridden in the past.
Yeah, he rode Zenyatta, too.
He rode Zenyatta. He's the winningest rider in the history of the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
He has been on some of the all-time greats, and for him to put that horse in that company, you know exactly how good he is. Of course, now we think he's that good because we're seeing Shared Belief on the track. But he has the perspective. He's a Hall of Fame rider. He's been doing this a long time. He's won over 5,000 races in his career. So his perspective, better than anyone's from high atop the withers of these great horses he's ridden. And let's talk about the entire team here. You see Alex Solis there in the background. Jerry Hollendorfer. I don't think people realize what a great job he has done with this horse. There have been foot problems. He doesn't hit the ground quite right. He's turned out a little bit. This is not the easiest horse to manage or train. No. And there are trainers that could not have gotten Shared Belief this far. The talent, that's Shared Belief. That's all on the horse. But the managing of his career, the training, the getting him to the races in order, the undefeated streak, that's Jerry Hollendorfer.
Look, I've seen it firsthand. And the public, I think, and we're guilty of it. You know, you sit here and you sit up here and watch these horses run. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes to get them to the track. When I worked with Bill Mott with Cigar, that horse had a quarter crack for 2 years straight and had to be managed day in and day out. Nobody knew. The same thing applies here with Shared Belief. He's got a myriad of foot problems. Jerry Hollendorfer is the first to credit his wife, Janet, who likes to stay in the background, behind the scenes, up at Golden Gate. She's the one basically that takes care of this horse on a day-to-day basis. And I tell you what, managing these foot problems, everyone thinks, oh, good horse, you just get him right and you wheel him over there. They have no idea the work that goes in behind the scenes.
You're 100% right. And the thing is this horse has never worked over a dirt racetrack. He's always been at Golden Gate over the Tapatelle over there.
Actually, they switched him up to Golden Gate.
They switched him back over to Golden Gate. He worked early in his career, early in his career. But then to ship him back up, take the van ride, handle him carefully, you got to give credit to the people at Golden Gate, his assistant Dan Ward as well, who does a phenomenal job. I mean, you're right, they kept this horse down, and Jerry was on the record before this a couple weeks ago, say, listen, I'm keeping this horse in California. If you want to come beat me, I'm going to keep him here. And if he's healthy, you'll see him in the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. But you're going to have to come here to beat him. And I don't see anyone here shipping in here to try to beat him.
No, why would you ship halfway across the country to take him on? And the options are few and far between. I mean, he's got the Gold Cup here in July, and the TVG Pacific Classic will be the next starts. Me personally, I would have loved to have seen him run in Dubai. That's not their MO. That's not their plan. And with those foot problems, I understand and respect the decision that the camp makes.
This horse is getting used to the smell of flowers on his back.